His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Jai.
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.
Vrindavan Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Ganga Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Jamuna Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Shomaveta Bhaktavrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Prem Anande.
Hari.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hare.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, can you read the translation, please? Are you there? I see the Krishna village is there. No? Okay. How about Mother Vindhyavali?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes. Translation by Dasa. Chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. When Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda came dancing through Nadia, they gave these teachings. Chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. You are caught up in a whirlpool of senseless action and are sinking lower and lower. Chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. If you just understand that the spirit soul is the eternal servant of Krishna, you will never have any more sorrows. Chant Hare Krishna and your eyes will fill with tears and your body will feel transcendental shivering. Chant, chant Radha Krishna, everyone chant. Simply chant Radha Krishna and join with us. Those are the only alms we begged. Chant, chant Radha Krishna, everyone chant. All dangers will be gone when that name is chanted. Says Bhaktivinoda Thakur, chant, chant Radha Krishna, everyone chant. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We're reading Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, Adi Lila chapter 10. Text we have 137. Can we go back one, I think, or one or two? Let's see. King Pata Parudra. Okay, oh no, we did that one. Yeah. Okay. 137, yeah.
মাধবী দেবী শিখি মাহিতির ভগিনী, শ্রী রাধার দাসী মধ্যে যার নাম গণী।
Madhavi Devi the 17th of the prominent devotees was the younger sister of Shiki Mahiti. She is considered to have formerly been a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. Purport. In the Antya Lila of Caitanya Charitamrita, chapter 2, verses 104, 106, there is a description of Madhavi Devi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered her one of the maidservants of Srimati Radharani. Within this world, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had 3.5 very confidential devotees. The three were Sharup Goswami, Sri Ramananda Roy, and Shiki Mahiti. And Shiki Mahiti's sister, Madhavi Devi, being a woman, was considered the half. Thus it is known that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had 3.5 confidential devotees. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Sha Pandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before talking, I'd like to get blessings and permission from the seniors here, who may be senior by age or advancement in Krishna consciousness or involvement in the Hare Krishna movement. This life or last life. So here we have the 3.5, and the 3 are Swarup Goswami, and that's just another way of saying Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, and Shiki Mahiti. And Shiki Mahiti's sister, Madhavi Devi, being a woman, was considered the half. So what do you make out about the half? How is it because she's a half? What would you say? There's some ladies present here.
I was thinking it's a language in America they use it.
Yeah, that's what you said before. The woman is the better half. But that's in a marriage, a man and woman. Here. Go ahead.
Not the better half, but women, I don't know, even I'm surprised also how women are as a half. I have no idea, but I read from here only. I thought maybe it's the language here. I never heard this in India at all.
Well, this is coming from India. But you haven't heard it from India. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
usually.
also they say Prabhu Ardhangi.
Ardhangi, yeah.
Ardhangi.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
I remember last time I asked this question and he said that he used to be there on and off with them, not regularly. That's why.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Mother Suman. Yeah, we don't want to misunderstand this point, that because Madhavi Devi was a woman, she was somehow less qualified or less important or less valuable or less anything. The only reason that she's half or considered half is because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi. And in this incarnation and this appearance of Krishna as a sannyasi, he didn't associate with the women followers as regularly as with the men followers, as they're following rules of sannyas, but not in any way that she is less than any of the others. Here we see that she is a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. Do we know any other maidservants of Srimati Radharani who appeared in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes? Anybody?
Ramananda Rai, Swarup Damodar.
Well, she was, yeah, I mean, she was, Ramananda Roy was, some say Vishaka or Lalita. Yeah, but those are direct gopis.
Saki, yeah, as a friend.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur?
I don't know Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but we know that the 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, we've already read that they're maidservants of Srimati Radharani. Manjaris, they're called. Rupa was Sri Rupa Manjari, right? So she is on the same level in Krishna Lila as the 6 Goswamis, but in this appearance, being a woman, she doesn't have as unfettered access to Lord Chaitanya, but still is doing a wonderful service as a devotee of an intimate devotee of Lord Chaitanya. So that's my understanding of half. It's not mentioned here in elaborate. I checked with a few devotees, and they were in concert with what I mentioned there, although it's not mentioned here in this purport. If you have to think that in Lord Krishna's Leela, who were the best devotees?
The gopis.
Yes. I mean, Arjun was a wonderful devotee, right? Yudhishthir, Mother, but of all the associates of Krishna, devotees of Krishna, Srimati Radharani is considered number one, and the gopis are her assistants, and they're very close up there. So in a apparently female form, so they're the tops. And in Lord Chaitanya's Leela, these others are the Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Roy, Shikamiti, apparently appearing as in male bodies, are the most intimate, and Madhavi Devi, being a woman, was considered half. So just not to misunderstand that point. Other comments, questions? When Junior Haridas, he was a sannyasi disciple or follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was banished from Lord Chaitanya's association. And why was that?
Because he went begging for the rice from Madhavi Devi.
Yeah. In the translation part of that, it says that he went and begged rice from her. In the summary by Bhaktivinoda Thakur at the beginning of the chapter, it said that he had some confidential talking with her over time. So that was what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu objected to so stringently. So he banished him from his association, even though she was a great devotee, and even though she was one of the intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya, still by sannyas etiquette, it was not proper, not at all proper. Okay, next.
ঈশ্বরপুরীর শিষ্য ব্রহ্মচারী কাশীশ্বর শ্রী গোবিন্দ নাম তার প্রিয় অনুচর।
Brahmachari Kashishwara was a disciple of Ishwar Puri, and Sri Govinda was another of his dear disciples. Purport. Govinda was the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Gaur Gunadesh Deepika 137, it is stated that the servants formerly named Bringad and Bhungara in Vrindavan became Kashishwara and Govinda in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Govinda always engaged in the service of the Lord, even in great risk. Yes. So Govinda and Kashishwara were two disciples of Ishwar Puri, So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling to South India, they were still in the service of Ishwar Puri, which was Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. And when Lord Chaitanya returned from his South Indian tour, which took about 2 years, after taking sannyas, he came to Puri, then toured South India. By that time, Ishwar Puri had left, gone back to the spiritual world. And just before passing, Ishwara Puri instructed these two disciples, Sri Govinda and Kashishwara, to serve Lord Chaitanya. Ordinarily, it's a fact that the God brothers don't become the personal servants of another God brother. Of course, we serve all devotees, but not become the full-time personal servants. It's not usually the etiquette, but because it was the order of their spiritual master, Ishwar Puri, Sri Govinda and Kashishwara both came to Puri as the servants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashishwara Goswami's service, you know what it was? Anybody? No? Nobody knows? Okay. He was the bodyguard of Lord Chaitanya. Now you can say, well, what does Lord Chaitanya need a bodyguard for? He's God. Well, that's his service. That was his service. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to the Jagannath temple in the morning time, usually, oftentimes, at least at that time, there were large crowds entering the temple. So he would be in front and make way for Lord Chaitanya to come so that nobody would, so he could come through. And Govinda would follow Lord Chaitanya, and he would carry a water pot. This Kangara. I looked up Kangara. I couldn't find a picture of Kangara. Maybe you know, but it's a special water pot that sannyasis would carry. Not a kamandalu, but a Kangara. So when I looked it up, I found there's apparently a province of Tanzania that's also named Kangara. That's all I got. So anyway, Govinda would carry his water pot behind. And also, Govinda was caring for a lot of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal services. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back from his South India tour, there were many devotees who came to see him from Bengal, and also Govinda was there. When Kashishwara Goswami wasn't there either, he was instructed first to go visit many holy places and then go to Puri. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back from his South Indian tour, Govinda was there, and he was introduced to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time. And when he was introduced to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya interjected. You know Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He says, "What? I don't understand. How is it that Ishwara Puri is keeping a personal servant who's from a Shudra background? Govinda, Sri Govinda he was born in a Shudra family." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu responded very, very strongly. He said, the spiritual master is as good as God. And God is not subjected to any Vedic etiquette or regulation. He may follow, but he may not. And just as Krishna can lift anyone up from any position to become a pure Brahmin and a Vaishnava, similarly, my spiritual master also could do so without any difficulty. And he quoted that verse that even someone who's an expert metallurgist can turn bell metal into gold by the proper alchemical procedure. I don't know what that procedure is. Maybe you know. I don't know. In case you wanted to make some money. But anyway, he said like that. So, which was very interesting. You know, and then Prabhupada commented in the purport that usually in Vedic system that the brahmanas and the sannyasis were mostly from a Brahmin background, were teaching other brahmanas. They didn't accept the disciples from other classes. Do you know any examples of that? Or I'm not sure it was a strict rule, but it's a general rule in the Vedic system. There was Gautam Muni, Gautam Muni, he was accepting disciples, and one disciple came and asked him, can you accept me as your disciple? And he said, well, what is your parental lineage? He said, I don't know. He said, go ask your mom. So he asked his mom. And he said, well, I asked my mother. She said, she doesn't know. Who's your dad? I don't know. So that means he was from the background of a, prostitute. But Gautam Muni accepted him as a Brahmin because he was truthful quality, and he became his disciple. So anyway, that's one instance that quality is more important than birth. In this principle, even though generally speaking was true, there were exceptions. For example, Dronacharya, he was a Brahmin. Who were his disciples?
Arjuna, Dronacharya,
all coming
Duryodhana.
from all coming from apparently a
And
Kshatriya
then
background. Now,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Ekalavya.
Ekalavya.
He wasn't a real disciple, no. To learn about Ekalavya, you can search dandavats.com. There's an excellent article which is from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur describing Ekalavya. It's a very important article to understand that situation. But there was Parshuram. Parshuram was coming from a Brahmin background, at least his father was Brahmin. But so he was only accepting disciples from a Brahmin background, isn't it? One might think that he had a little grudge against the Kshatriyas after his father was killed by Kartavirarjun's people. But anyway, and so Karna got in there claiming to be a Brahmin, but when Parshuram found out he wasn't, he was unhappy and cursed him. So oftentimes that is the case. But at the same time, there's other circumstances where a person, even not born in a Brahmin family, raises to the position of a high-class Brahmin. Do you know any of those? No?
Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur, yes, very good. He was honored with the Shraddha Patra, by Advaita Acharya, who's that plate is supposed to be given after they do the ceremony for the Shraddha ceremony. The plate is supposed to be given to the most qualified Brahmin present, and that was given by Advaita Acharya to Haridas Thakur, born in a Muslim family, Javana. Sometimes people say Javan Haridas, Javan, right? But Prabhupada said a devotee is never a Javan, but he came from that background. Aho bata svat machoto gariyan. Yas jiva gre vartate namatubhyam tapaste juhuvu shashnur arya brahmanuchur namagvinantiete. Said Kapila Dev said, oh, aho, it's so wonderful that a person, even if they're born, they're coming from a background of family who are dog eaters. If they're keeping the name of the holy name of Krishna always on their tongue, they should be considered to have completed all past sacrifices, austerities, and tapasya, and they're on the level of a high-class Brahmin. Kapila Muni says. I'm also thinking of another very interesting case There was a
Vishwamitra.
person. Go ahead.
Vishwamitra.
Vishnugada. Yeah, he came from a Kshatriya background, but he wanted to become a Brahmin. He had a few mishaps along the way.
Then he became the guru of the Lord Ramachandra.
Yes. In a different way, I'm thinking. So this is still, we're talking about 5,000 years ago, when they first started to have the assembly at Naimisharanya. There were many sadhus and Vaishnavas and Brahmins present, thousands of them. And who did they first elect as their eloquent speaker, the most respected speaker? Ramaharshan Sutta. Ramaharshan Sutta, who came from a Sutta background, which means it's considered also like a Shudra background. So even all these thousands of Brahmins and sadhus and everything, and why did they accept him as the initial speaker? Because he was a disciple of Vyasadeva. Although he had some imperfection that came out when Lord Balaram, but still, they were willing to accept him as their teacher. So that's very interesting. It's very interesting. So although it was often the case, it wasn't strictly the case. Anyway, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya pointed that out, and Lord Caitanya gave Lord Chaitanya the opportunity to explain that much more important than birth is the teachings and following the order and the discipline and the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master, who is as good as Krishna in that regard. Shakshad Hari Tvena Samasta Shastri Uktastata Bhavyata Eva Shadbhi. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Sakshad Hari, directly Krishna. This is said in the Shastras, and it's also accepted by all sadhus. It's not just hearsay, but all the sadhus accept that. That, of course, the spiritual master is not Krishna, but he has the fully potency of Krishna. Kintu prabodhya priya evatasya, because he's very dear to Krishna, he has the potency to deliver Krishna to anyone. He's got the power of attorney, or she has the power of attorney for Krishna consciousness. So Govinda was then appreciated in that way. And it says, Srila Prabhupada mentions here that Govinda was even served the Lord at great risk. Do you know where that great risk happened? There's a description when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was having Sankirtan during the water pastimes of Lord Jagannath and the Jagamohan Kirtan Hall in Puri. And after having he was ecstatically chanting and dancing there, Kirtan with his associates. And then they all had prasadam. And it was the practice of Govinda that he would only take the remnants of Lord Chaitanya's prasadam after giving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a massage. We're talking on Thursday about Prabhupada getting massage. Lord Chaitanya also got massage. So Lord Chaitanya would usually take prasadam, and then Govinda only after that, after giving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu massage, then he would take his meal. So this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very tired, and he took a rest. But when he was taking rest, he was just in the doorway of his room. He was so tired, he lay down there. And Govinda, in order to massage his legs, the legs must have been inside, kind of, and his head must have been outside. So he had to go inside the room to get to massaging his legs. So he said, Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please, can you move? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, no, it's okay. And he fell asleep. So here it is, Govinda, he's supposed to massage his legs. So he didn't know what to do. So you know what he did? He took a cloth, his outer cloth, and put it over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then stepped over him. Now this is very significant. Not so much in Western culture, so much is not recognized, but in Vedic culture, stepping over somebody is an offense. It's a great offense. You don't do that. That's why you see people when they're walking in a crowd, people, they don't want to step over people. They go like this, like, please, this here. Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sleeping and he stepped over, and then he massaged Lord Chaitanya's legs for some time. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained asleep. And then the massage was over, but he was still waiting. And he didn't cross back over Lord Chaitanya. Why is that? In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, he woke up later and he says, what are you doing? You must have finished the massage a long time ago. What are you sitting there wasting time? What are you wasting time? Go ahead. You were going to say, Mother Shobharade.
He wanted to do a service, so he used that as a reason for stepping over him. But coming back out of the room was not a necessity. But I guess when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, why are you wasting time? That may not have been the reason.
Yeah. So for service of Krishna, for service of Lord Chaitanya, even he was willing to risk that offense of stepping over. See, that's the at great risk, even at great risk. Even at the risk of offending Lord Chaitanya, because he wanted to do his service, right? But for his own account, for his own pleasure, which was to go take prasadam, his meals, he wasn't ready to do that. Too dangerous. So that was quite a lesson. He teaches us how to practice devotional service. Does this ever happen in one's life? Are there other examples of that where even at the risk of some kind of offense, one engages in the service of Krishna? Any examples? I know there's
Leela of the gopis giving the dust from their feet, but that's from Krishna Leela. I'm not sure if that's what.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Chaitanya Leela. Yeah. So that's right. Yeah. The gopis were not afraid of giving the dust of their feet, which ordinarily you take your feet and put it on somebody's head. That's very arrogant. But they didn't want, it's because that way Lord Krishna's headache would be cured, which is their point. In fact, there's a play that was written about that called The Celestial Headache, in fact. Other ones.
While serving the deities also, there will be indirectly, offenses will involve, deities. Maha will be falling on the floor and this and that. Those things are involved. And I wonder how they served Jagannath also, the huge deity, without doing, committing any offense. And also another thing I noted that in holy places, the tulsis are always, lying everywhere, because they take for offering and tulsi leaves are lying on the floor here and there. And it's hard to take out all the tulsi from the floor to walk. That's some of the observations that, for the higher service,
Yeah, we want to, so the point of Govinda doing this is not that he wanted to avoid the offense. He wanted to, but he couldn't do it. So we want to avoid the offense. We wanted to avoid having to walk over the tulsi leaves if possible somehow. But in this case, he couldn't do it. So it's not that, yeah, we're just callous and we'll just do offensive and we'll do our service. No, he wanted to avoid it as little as possible. But if it was unavoidable, then he went ahead and did that for the purpose of service. This sometimes happens. You know, technically when there's a arati, the arati at the temple, technically everybody's supposed to go to that arati. Do you know that? The blowing of the conch shell. What's the blowing of the conch shell?
Inviting
Come
everyone.
come on! You're supposed to come. Everybody's good. But somebody might have some very important service. We try to go. Everybody should try to go, and it's not a light thing. It's not a light thing that people don't go. But if it's required, absolutely required, like Govinda, Sri Govinda, then they may not go. Same thing with, some in the temple, there's supposed to be, classes, and when the class is going on, everybody's supposed to come. But if not absolutely required, okay. Other services required, okay. But otherwise not. Another thing one can think of is, this is to serve Krishna. Sometimes it was required to disregard or minimize instructions given from superiors. For example, when the 4 Kumaras were born, Lord Brahma wanted them to become grihastas, get married, and have some children. And what did they say? Sorry, we're not going to do that. We want to go make better progress in Krishna consciousness. So, becoming too much involved in family affairs is going to deviate us. So we're going to remain as Kumara, little boys, because little boys don't have any that kind of passion, sex desire. So, and the 4 Kumaras, for the service of Krishna, they could even disregard the order of Lord Brahma, who's the #1 administrator in the universe, isn't it? So it could be said that it was an offense, isn't it? But for a higher purpose, not just because but for a higher purpose. And what was the higher purpose? To serve Krishna, to go back to Godhead. So the 4 Kumaras are considered Mahajans because of that. Bali Maharaj also. So these are examples, similar examples. Comments? Other?
Yeah, one's consciousness I think, is very important. Thinking what he's doing and is it for the pleasure of the Lord. Idea is one has to be very conscious all the time while serving.
Yes. What is the purpose?
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. And Kashishvara, as there was a Kashishvara being his Lord Chaitanya's bodyguard, but that's not all he did. Oftentimes you'll find in later parts of Chaitanya Charitamrita, for example, when Vallabhacharya came to meet Lord Chaitanya in Puri sometime later, he invited all the devotees to his house, and all the devotees came to Vallabhacharya's residence there in Puri. And he brought all this Mahaprasad from Jagannath to serve to the devotees. And who served the prasadam? Kashishvara, Swarup Damodar. These very elevated devotees were serving prasadam to everyone. So that was one of his services too, serving prasadam to the devotees. along with Surab Damodar. Yeah, okay. Next.
তাঁর সিদ্ধিকালে দোহে তার আজ্ঞা পায়া নীলাচলে প্রভু স্থানে মিলিল আসিয়া।
In the list of prominent devotees at Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, Kashishwara was the 18th and Govinda the 19th. They both came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, being thus ordered by Ishwar Puri at the time of his passing away.
Next.
Yes, next.
গুরুর সম্বন্ধে মান্য কইল দুহাকারে তার আজ্ঞা মানি সেবা দিলেন দোহারে।
Both Kashishwara and Govinda were god brothers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord duly honored them as soon as they arrived. But because Ishwar Puri had ordered them to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personal service, the Lord accepted their service.
অঙ্গ সেবা গোবিন্দেরে দিলেন ঈশ্বর, জগন্নাথ দেখিতে চলেন আগে কাশীশ্বর।
Govinda cared for the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas Kashishwara went in front of the Lord when he went to see Jagannath in the temple.
অপরস যায় গোসাই মনুষ্য গহনে, মনুষ্য ঠেলি পথ করে কাশী বলবানে।
When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Jagannath, Kashishwara, being very strong, cleared the crowds aside with his hands so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could pass untouched.
রামাই নন্দাই দোহে প্রভুর কিঙ্কর, গোবিন্দের সঙ্গে সেবা করে নিরন্তর।
Oh, okay. Ramai and Nandai, the 20th and 21st among the important devotees in Jagannath Puri, always assisted Govinda 24 hours a day in rendering service to the Lord. So we have here that Ramai and Nandai were assisting Govinda as the personal servants. So we've been saying the names of these devotees because to kind of fix them in our minds. So we have Kashishwara,
কাশীশ্বর,
Sri Govinda,
শ্রী গোবিন্দ,
Ramai,
রামাই,
and Nandai.
নন্দাই।
Yes, thank you. Next.
22 ঘড়া জল দিনে ভরেন রামাই, গোবিন্দ আজ্ঞায় সেবা করেন নন্দাই।
Every day, Ramai filled 22 big water pots, whereas Nandai personally assisted Govinda. Purport. In the Gaur Gunadesh Deepika 139, it is stated that two servants who formerly supplied milk and water to Lord Krishna became Ramai and Nandai in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
কৃষ্ণদাস নাম শুদ্ধ কুলীন ব্রাহ্মণ, যারে সঙ্গে লইয়া কইলা দক্ষিণ গমন।
The 22nd devotee, Krishnadas, was born of a pure and respectable Brahmin family. While touring southern India, Lord Chaitanya took Krishnadas with him. Purport. Krishnadas is described in the Madhya Lila, chapters 7 and 9. He went with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to carry his water pot. In the Malabar state, members of the Bhakahari cult tried to capture Krishnadas by supplying a woman to seduce him. But although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saved him from being harmed, when they returned to Jagannath Puri, he ordered Krishnadas to remain separate from him, for the Lord was never favorably disposed towards an associate who was attracted by a woman. Thus, Krishnadas lost the personal association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's a very instructive event took place while they were touring. Lord Chaitanya and Krishnadas were touring South India, even though Krishnadas was from a respectable Brahmin family and had been nominated to accompany Lord Chaitanya on his tour of South India by Nityananda Prabhu, and was associating with Lord Chaitanya every day, every single day. You can imagine being in the association of God every day. And even such a person became seduced by this Bhattahari woman. She must have been decorated very nicely. So what can we learn from that? Well, even someone who's in the spiritual world, minute independence remains. We have minute independence to serve Krishna or to serve the illusory energy. And that's always with us. So someone even in the personal association daily of God, he became attracted by the illusory energy. And what happened was, Lord Chaitanya then went and got him. He rescued him from the Bhattaharis. And you know what happened when he rescued him? He pulled him out by his Sika, by the way. You know what happened when he rescued him? Come on, you know.
You mean later what happened, you saying?
Yeah. Well, no. I'm right there at that time. Lord Chaitanya grabbed him and pulled him out from the Bhattaharis. So then the Bhattaharis, many of them started running after Lord Chaitanya and Krishnadas to get him back and to punish Lord Chaitanya. So what did Lord Chaitanya do? Nobody knows? Come on. This is a unique thing that happened. Ordinarily, we say Lord Chaitanya, he brought his chakra when Madai threw the water pot that hit Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda said, no, don't do that, because if you kill these people, everybody in Kali Yuga is there. But in this one instance, you check it out. In this one instance, Lord Chaitanya at least injured the Bhattaharis with his potency, his chakra, when they ran after him. Said their limbs were attacked, so they were deterred by that. So 99.9% of the time, Lord Chaitanya he didn't retaliate with violence, but in this case, he did. Apparently, they were not repentant like Jagai Madai. So he was outside of the personal association of Lord Chaitanya, but still he's here in the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, noting him as a important devotee. What happened was he was very, very, very sorry that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not given, had pushed him away from his personal association. But the devotees of the Lord were even more merciful than Lord Chaitanya. So they asked that after Lord Chaitanya came back from the South India tour, that Krishnadas go to Bengal and inform Mother Sachi and the devotees in Bengal that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had returned from the South India tour, and he brought many different gifts for them, the devotees in Bengal, for Mother Sachi and for the devotees there. And that way he got the blessings of the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was accepted in there by them. And then they came for the Rath Yatra.
Well, this
Yes.
is the place, the urge of anger to be utilized, as according to Rupa Goswami. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy to Jagai Madhya, that's a different situation. And here
Yes.
is different situation, glorifying the duty of a devotee. Here it is to protect the day from the dangers from to other devotees here.
Yes, I mean, he was protecting Nityananda Prabhu also. But because the Jagai had first repented, then there was some. So yeah, there's some difference. Sure.
There Chaitanya Lord Nityananda's mercy is glorified there in Jagai Madhya's pastime. And here the duty of a Vaishnava to protect from other devotee, to protect from the danger is glorified. We should not keep watching and other devotees are in danger. I think those are the two. Both has to be proper balance. Where to forgive and where to take action, that has to be decided.
Yes. Good point. Good point.
One point I had is confusing. The Brajadhama Mahimamrita, which Krishna Das has written that?
The same Krishna Das Kaviraj.
Krishna Das Kaviraj has written that? Okay, that's what I was
Yes.
checking.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much. I know, on the announcement that comes out about the classes, it says that the class is from 10 to 8 to 8:30, but really it usually goes on later. So I don't know if, here we are at 8:48. Anyway, it's this time. We'll see. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishnugada Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.